All right, guys, good morning. We decided we better do a little Fleabay edition this morning. Before I start in with that and start going through stuff, and I've looked through stuff but not really gone in and looked at anything. I was looking for specific stuff. Normal little rant. And what I've done is I have changed the policy on the website and the way we're going to sell parts. I've said several times that I would rather sell 6 items to 6 different individuals than I would selling 6 items to one reseller. My whole thing has been from the start of this to make these parts and accessories reasonably priced, hopefully reasonably priced, to go to the end user in their shop. And, when I do these Fleabay editions, I come down on these sellers, and this is part of the reason why. Now, I've tried to limit most items on the website to one item per order, one individual item per order. You can order as many as you want, but they're only one of each item. So if you need a set of bevel pins, you can order one set of bevel pins. If you need, you can add on the square head screws that hold those bevel pins in place on the compounds or type of thing, but you can only order one set of those. So you can have as many items as you want, but they're usually limited to one individual item, and that is intentional to cut down on the resellers. Historically, when I've built parts, why I've built 3, 6, something like that, enough to put them out there, and I've changed the way I'm building those too. I'm trying to do stuff in a large enough quantity to where I can make them a little faster for me to produce, and I don't have to spend as much time setting up machines and tearing down machines and things like that. So I've only got to do it, instead of producing 6 and having to do one setup, while I'm doing 2 dozen or 50 or whatever the case may be and only doing one setup. So hopefully I can get stuff restocked and keep things in stock as time goes on here. So like I just finished redoing steel vice jaws for the 10-inch lays, 10 and 12-inch lays. I think I've got 4 dozen of those in stock, so I won't have to go back and restock those for a little bit of time anyway. So I can go on and produce something else. I'm going to try and produce those larger quantities like that. What I've discovered is I've got a few resellers. There's 3 or 4 of them, and one in particular that I actually sent an order out to yesterday that I've now identified as a reseller. And it's with a set of my steel vice jaws that I just put out. Well, that's one of the things that he'd ordered, and there was 5 or 6 items. Now, he's done enough orders that now I've seen there's enough duplicates that I'm thinking, this is not for individual use. And what I think it is I think there's a couple of people involved. I think it's probably the items are being ordered by probably an individual's father, I'm guessing, and then they're being sent on to his son, who is playing on Fleabay here. So now I've identified that, so I'm gonna put a stop to that. There's a set of 6-inch vice jaws listed that I'm 95% sure are a set of my vice jaws from looking at steel for the 6-inch, and they're out there at $50. Well, if they're available to you at $50, and you haven't found me or don't think I've got them, whatever the case may be, I sell that exact same set of vice jaws for $25. So he's got them for $50 and then shipping on top of that too. So I'm going to do my best to eliminate that. My thing has been all along to make these as affordable as possible. And it really irks me when these guys are parting out machines or they're doing an exorbitant markup on something that that goes away from the whole thing that I've tried to promote of make these machines affordable again. So this is going to cost me money. I mean, I'm going to lose money on this, because what I've discovered is the order that he just gave me was not a big order by any means, but it was a little bit of money that I put back into the shop, that I put back into products or that type of thing. So anyway, what I've done, and this is the listing that's now on the website, and this will be the policy from now on. Now, I'm trying to do stuff as inexpensively as I can to keep things in stock and keep them out and get them to the end user, hopefully at a usable price. And I consider you guys the end user. You know, you guys that have got them in your shops just like I do. You've got a lathe, a mill, a shaper, a combination of all three, whatever the case may be. You're not going to need a tremendous amount of parts anyway, but what you are, I want to have available to you rather than you having to me being out of stock because some resellers manage to buy a large amount of my inventory, and then I'm out of stock, so you end up and give twice as much to him. So anyway, this is a statement that's on the website, and the whole goal is to keep these as inexpensively as I possibly can. Now, I'm only shipping to the U.S. at this point in time. There again, it's time and money type thing. It's a hassle for me to ship stuff out of the U.S. You know, I've got my shipping down fairly well figured out here in the U.S. It's fairly quick. It's fairly easy for me. Where when I ship stuff overseas or even to Canada or something, it's a hassle for me. So for right now, I'm just not doing it. So anyway, this is a statement that's on the website. It's on the main page, it's on the shop page, and it's on the checkout page. So there should be no confusion about it. It's the same statement every place. And it says, our goal is to provide parts and accessories to the individual in their personal shop at a reasonable price. We are not interested in providing products to resellers who are marking them up, thus increasing the cost to the end user. With that in mind, we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone and will limit the sale of items to one of an individual item in a 6-month period at our sole discretion, which will limit the reseller's ability to purchase our inventory, yet still provide the end user the ability to obtain the products they need for their individual machines. Any purchases made in violation of this policy will result in the item purchased being refunded with a notation stating the item is not available for purchase. And if any additional items are ordered, so if there's multiple items of different items here, part of them are something they're trying to order more of, some of them, this is the only, they've ordered one of something. The items purchased being refunded with a notation stating the item is not available for purchase, and if any additional items are ordered with that order, they will be shipped to the purchaser. So if I've got an order with 3 different items and one of them is something that they've ordered within the last 6 months, why the other 2 items I'm going to ship out. I'm not going to say any other notice other than I'm going to refund that first one. So what's going to happen is that's going to increase shipping costs. If they've tried to order 2 or 3 items, and the way my cart is set up or my shop is set up, you only pay one shipping cost, which is usually the most expensive shipping cost of the items being purchased. So if they've ordered 3 items, 2 of them are prohibited items, and one of them's got a $10 shipping fee, where the other item's only a $2 shipping, well, $4 shipping fee. Why, they're still going to pay that $10 shipping, and they're going to get 1 item instead of 3. So it won't take long to figure out that this is not as cost effective for them as it could potentially be. So that's my idea with that. I'm trying to keep them inexpensive. I'm trying to make it to where you guys are getting the best deal I can give you, because if you're going to go and give somebody else $50 for something, he's paying $25 for me. If I'm selling them out that way and you're willing to pay that $50, why don't I just mark them at $50 and sell them directly to you anyway, and take away any profit from him? So anyway, we're going to leave it at that right there. It's kind of a sore spot for me. That's why I come down on these Fleabay sellers so bad. So anyway, let's go on and look at Fleabay stuff here. Atlas shapers. I didn't really, as I was perusing through, and that's what I was looking at, I was looking for my items, and I've seen them a couple other places too, not just on eBay, and it's not limited to one seller. I've got a few different guys that have done this, and I'm just going to try and cut it out as much as I can. So what I was looking for here today was my products being listed specifically on Fleabay this morning, although I did go through some other forums and a couple other sites. So, and I found a couple of other items that I believe are mine too, that are out there that are being resold. So anyway, we're just cutting down on that. So anyway, Atlas Craftsman 20-inch lathe, can't talk now that I've done my little rant. Atlas Craftsman 10-inch, 12-inch lathe metal shaper motor mount base, $59.95. And I'm probably not going to go in and look at these, otherwise we'll be here all morning. We'll just go through. There's a whole bunch of these motor bases listed, it looks like. They want $59.95 on free delivery. Right below it, there's another one for 54 and 1086 delivery. That seems to kind of be the going rate on down here. Another one, $49.99 and $14.25. They're in that $55 range. You know, castings, I've said before, I don't think they're really worth that much. They're, you know, to me, that's about $20 or $25 more than they're actually worth. And they all look to be in about the same condition. Just glancing at them, I don't see any breaks or anything. So maybe, you know, I mean, that's what you're going to have to give, it seems like right now. All of those should be about 40 bucks in your door, probably. Couple of pulleys. Let's see. Well, there's, what do we got here? 10-12 inch lathe 7B countershaft 4-step pulleys. There's two of these listed. One of them for $80 and $19.10 shipping, and one right below it for $49.95 and $19.10 delivery. So there again, I won't spend time going to look at them. They're probably both from the same seller. They both got $19.10 or $19.10 shipping costs on them, so they're probably from the same seller. Let's go look, just because we can, just to look at the sellers. Yeah, this is from a dealer. Is there anything in the description worth reading here? Good condition. No, nothing there worth noting. One right below it that they only want $49.40. Yeah, same seller. What's the description say here? Oh, outside edge has bends and dings. See, 50 bucks is about right for a good condition pulley. I'm not going to give 80 bucks in shipping for one. Yeah, this one's been dinked up. You know, if a guy's really good with Zamax stuff, sometimes you can straighten these up. 50-50 chance, and this one's dinged up pretty bad. 50-50 chance, are you going to be able to straighten it, or is it just going to break? So that's a pass. Right below it, another Shaper motor mount, 60 bucks and $22.65 shipping. They're all the same motor mount, you know. Okay. Here's a Shaper vise that we've looked at before, and I can tell we've looked at it before because of the extra jaw that's laying here with it, and it's missing the actual jaws. They want 450 bucks for these. They're not worth 450 bucks. Another countershaft pulley, 70 bucks and 20 shipping. Same seller. So this guy's parted out. Lathes and shapers, apparently. You know, they're not worth it. Internal parts. Now here's a set of indexing centers, and this, we may have already looked at this one, and we probably have because there's a bunch of watchers here, so this has been here for a while. Yeah, since May. Alice Craftsman Shaper indexing centers. They want 1,350 bucks for it. I think we've looked at these before. Don't really recognize the seller, but comes as pictured. That's all it says. Please view all the pics as they are part of the description. I'm sure we've looked at this same one. Let's look at big pictures here. For 1,350 bucks, it should be pristine, and it sure is not. Yeah, it's got both the index wheels for it. Rusted up piece of crap. So, I mean, it looks complete, but it's not worth. In this condition, this is a $300 item. Bunch of pot smokers. This is why I get down on eBay. Oh, it's missing the lock on top. Looks like it's busted off. Looks like the threads are down in there. So yeah, you're missing this should be pristine for that. 1,350 bucks. These are pot smokers. Rusted up. Bore's going to be rusted. That center's rusted up. Piece of junk. Piece of junk. Yeah, we've looked at this one. We talked about this piece of crap before. It's worth about 300 bucks. Used crossfeed nuts, 30 bucks and $6 delivery. No, it's a wore out piece of shit. See, I get kind of disgusted looking at these. Yeah, and I think this is things we've looked at before. Let's go and look at the mills real quickly. See if there's anything there. We won't waste much time today. I say that every time, but we won't look at many of these because there's nothing worth looking at. Milling attachments, 400 bucks. These are 10-inch. Milling attachment, 375 bucks. They want 35 bucks delivery for each of them. 6-inch milling attachment, $310 and $23 delivery. XY milling table. See, this stuff is all just way out of sight. It's just, I'm so, and I'm not going in and looking at these because it's just disgusting today. XY milling table with universal compound vise, 500 bucks and $28 delivery. Let's go look at this and see. We've probably looked at this. I don't recognize the seller, although he's got a fair amount of feedback. Great shape and operates well. Original paint, universal compound vise, top quality tool for your metalworking needs. Looks like the description's right out of the catalog when Alice was selling them back in 1940 whatever. So, and this looks in pretty good shape. I see no dinks on the table at all. Let's bring up to the big pictures here. I see no dinks on it. May have a little bit of corrosion on there. We'll see a little bit. There's 9 pictures here, so good looking vise, or a good looking universal table and setup. I can't so far anyway fault it at all, other than it's a $250 attachment. Let's see, I think those are 4 extra holes. I think they only had, oh, they bolted it to another plate. That's what they've done, because this was a slotted base. Yeah, it's a slotted base. They've just bolted it to another plate. Nice looking setup. What do we got here? Yeah, it's a nice looking XY table, but it's not worth 500 bucks. Not worth 500 bucks. With the vice jaws, with those vice jaws, 350 to 400, and that's being generous. Yeah, nice looking setup, but it's not worth 500 bucks. You don't get that much utility out of it. 10-12 inch milling attachment, 400 bucks. XY milling table, 200 bucks, no bids or best offer, and $40 delivery. Now this one doesn't have a vise. Let's go ahead and look at this one too. Probably doesn't have a whole lot of feedback from the seller. Condition is used. Okay. Now there's no vise with this. Let's look at it and see what they've got. They've only got 4 pictures here. And I don't know that it's going to show us anything. Table's got some staining. Looks like it's got a little dink right there. And it's a little scarfed up. Got some rust on it. To see, this was rusted out pretty bad. You can see the leftover rust here, the rust along this edge and down in the bottom. Big rust spot there. Yeah, this has been well used and abused. Yeah, this is a rusted up piece of crap. I wouldn't give 100 bucks for this one. Wouldn't give 100 bucks for this one. Yeah, that's why it's got no bids. Okay. Oh. Milling machine feed change gear cover guard, MF28 with gears, $230 and $51.77 delivery. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Nope. Or best offer. Now see, this is a very large opening there, by comparison to most of them that you see. It's got the knobs, it's got the cover, you know, I mean, it's a good usable part. But with the gears, with the gears in there, it's worth $150 and $30 shipping. Okay. Base pre-owned $65 and $78.33 shipping. Let's see who's selling this one, just because we can. I think it's the same seller. Shaper base. Now this is, oh no, this is a milling machine base, excuse me. So he's parted out this machine. That's what he's done. $65 or best offer, but he wants, you know, it's probably worth $65 as a decent casting. And I'm not going to look at it any closer than that. But what's his description say? Selling as is, chips and grease included. Yeah. Yeah, but they want $78.33 shipping. No, pot smokers. A lot of pot smokers. Here's the motor for it. Motor and the motor base. And it looks like it's got the base and the mount that goes on the back of the mill casting. $145.99 or best offer and $109.23 delivery. Nope, the motor and base is worth $75 and another $50 to ship it. Yeah, so, you know, maybe $150 in your door if you're that desperate. The inner gear plate, $65 right below it and $15 delivered. Reverse gear tumbler knob stud plunger, MF58 with gears, $55 and $8 now. Wants $80 for the main housing. See, he's parted this machine out rather than selling it as a whole machine, and it's ragged. He wants $80 for the main casting, but he also wants $115 delivery for it. Okay, Atlas milling machine, M1 567 arbor driver, homemade, brand new, $80 or best offer, and $562. And I see this is more than I was selling them for. And this is somebody building them, you know. So yeah, he's produced a few of these. Forget that cheap plastic crap and buy metal. Homemade on my Logan Wars lathe. Are they perfect? No. Do they work? Yes. They may have small marks and accuracy may be off a few thou. Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm not the guys out there building parts and selling them. If you know what you're buying, you know, that's fine. I think I'm out of stock on those. I don't believe that I have any of those in stock. Let's see where I had them. And with the price of materials and the way things are right now, I'm probably bumping my prices a little bit. Just because it's costing more to do everything nowadays. Now, the way that I'm able to do, yeah, I'm out of stock. See, I was selling arbor drivers for $55, and those are blued. You know, those are my normal blued arbor drivers that I've sold for years. Look just like that right there. And there again, now I'm making time to produce those. Now I put the hole in the side of these, just like the factory had. I do feel you do need a spanner wrench there, because if they've gotten on there, if you've worked them hard, you know, you don't necessarily need to reef them down when you put them on, but sometimes they're not as easy to come off as they could be, and you need that spanner hole there. So anyway, that's what's going on there. So guys selling them, You know, we'll look at his stuff. You can decide for yourself if that's what you want to do. Doesn't look like it looks like he's just turning a straight part there on the back side. You know, instead of radius in the back end. So there we are. You know, I mean, he does have some sort of he does have a step here on the back. You can decide for yourself if that's what you want to do. Like I say, I'm not gonna beat up on the guy because he's out there doing something and trying to make his way. Anyway, there we go there. What else we got here? 6-inch follower rest, $170 and 7. Now, follower rest for a 6-inch is worth about. No, they're going to bring $100 is what they should bring. They should bring about 75. And this is a newer model. You can tell from the darker blue paint. This was what they put on the later model 6-inch machines, and that's fine. I mean, the follower rest, I don't think it's any different at all, but the paint color is different. Now here's a Atlas milling machine rotary index table fixture missing the pin, $500 and $29.19 delivery. Oh god, pot smokers. Let's look at it. $29.19 delivery. Yeah, this is an LLC outfit. What's it say for a description? I've not seen this guy, but used rotary index table for the Atlas milling machine. Index pin is missing there. Scuff, scratches, and wear from use. No cracks or repairs. Okay, so these rotary tables are. I got one for the mill. I got one for the shaper. I'm keeping them because they go with my Atlas stuff. Is it a good rotary table? No, it's not. You're far better off spending money on any kind of a rotary table. It's a hand wheel index rotary table. This you manually index around and lock it in position. You know, the pin goes in, locks in these pinholes, and for your preset, I don't know what they are, every 30 degrees or 15 degrees. 15, 30, 45, every 15 degrees, I believe, and then they do have index marks around the bottom. You manually index it, and then you lock it in position. So, you know, they're functional for some simple stuff you want to do, but are they a good indexing table? No, they're not by any means. This has got a little bit of surface rust, it looks like, on the whole thing. Crap on it. You know, it seems to me, and there's different trains of thought. Guys will say, oh, they'd rather buy something dirty with grime on it, and that way they know what they're working with to start with. Other guys will say that they need to be cleaned up. I say if you're wanting $400 for something like this, you damn well better clean it up. And this is a rusted up piece of shit. Just a rusted up piece of shit is all it is. No. You know, these, since they are an Atlas accessory, I think these should realistically, in this condition, $150 and $25 to ship it is what this is worth. You know, so they're not nearly worth, you know, $4.99 and $29.19 to ship it. No. In your door, let's be generous and say in your door, $200. These guys are. Of course, you gotta understand, I'm a little bit disgusted with guys reselling my stuff too, so that's why. XY table, $380. I'm not even gonna go look at it, and it's pickup only. No. No. Now here's a XY milling table, $225 and $40 delivery. I'm not gonna, well, yeah, let's go look at this one because there's another one right below it. Another one right below it. Looks to be in pretty good shape too. Yeah, you got some staining on top. I don't see any holes. Yeah, there's a little bit of rust marks in the top. That's not an original handle. Well, maybe it is. I don't believe that's an original handle. I don't know. I'm torn. I'm torn only because I'm looking at this outer boss here. No, this is not original. There's a set screw there. This looks to be an original handle to me. This does not. That might be an original knob that's been drilled and tapped in the, I don't know. I don't think that's original either. I think that's probably an original cross handle anyway. I don't believe that is. Look at the... I don't believe that is. And it's obviously been redone. The paint and everything's too good on it to... Well, I say that, but this is all chipped up. Maybe it's not. Maybe that is original paint, but... See, I don't think that's an original knob. That's gone through there, been peened on the end or screwed on the end, it looks like, and there's a set screw there to hold it in place. I don't believe that's an original handle. Yeah, see, you can see the screw holding it on here on the... Yeah, that's not original there. I mean, it's in pretty good shape for what it is. And, you know, when we go back and look at it, they want $225 for it and $40 and ship it. So for $265 in your door, plus tax, $265 as opposed to the one right below it that they want $600 for. Yeah, it does have the vise with it. It's still not worth $600, and it's got, looks like the original box. Let's see here. What are they're going to tell us? It's new old stock. Lightly used with its original box. Everything is in great condition. Flaws. Has some minor stains and scratches. Pot smokers. It's got the vise. Okay, it's got the vise. It's got the box. Don't care about the box. Came from Sears and Sawbuck. Yeah, it's nice setup. Not worth $600. Pot smokers, man. I tell ya, I better finish this up and go on to doing something more useful today. I got things to do. Here's a set of 618 Craftsman 6-inch milling attachment steel jaws, brand new. $50 and $625 delivery. Those look awful familiar to me. I'm not going to go in and look at them. If you're interested, you can go back and look at them. But those look awful familiar to me. and the seller's name kind of corresponds with what I kind of been my little bit of detective work to put it together. So, and then there's a bunch of stuff, more just stuff. Somebody's parting out an MFC milling machine. Kinds of parts. All kinds of parts. Now, see, the only way that it's even remotely possible for me to do these parts is over the years I've collected a little bit of turret lathe tooling. So a lot of the parts that I produce come off my Sheldon with the turret attachments on it. Now some of the smaller stuff comes off of the Atlas lathe that's set up as a turret lathe, as a production lathe. I've got a Logan turret lathe tucked away in the back that is going to be, I haven't been using it, it's going to be recommissioned here before too long, I hope, because I've got things to do there. Um, I do produce some stuff on both the CNC lathe and the CNC mill. Um, and that's the only way it's even remotely worthwhile for me to do that stuff. And I still do a lot of manual machining on things too. Um, and this is a small market for new replacement parts. So for the most part, you're not going to see guys with full-size CNC machinery turning out parts for the Atlas machines because the money's just not there to do it with. Um, and somebody starting out trying to do stuff, they're not gonna. They may produce a few parts, but it's just like the guy that's turning out the arbor driver there, or the arbor drivers there. He's done a small run. He's making a little bit of money that he can put back into the shop, but whether he finds that's profitable for him or not, or if he does it as a hobby type thing, and that's what it is for me too as a hobby. But I do produce a little bit of revenue off of it that historically goes back into the shop is where it goes to, and a little bit into these YouTube videos and things like that. But it's not profitable for the big boys to be producing there. There's not enough volume there, money there to do it. The same way for the small guys just working off their manual machines, they'll putter with them a little bit, but there's not enough money there or there's so much time involved and the profit's so low that they're not even at $80 a piece for an arbor driver. Um, that's not a whole lot of money, see. And I was producing them enough at a time, and I'm out of stock right now, so that's one of the items that I do have to restock. Um, that's one of those things that I can produce them, and I do have all the tooling to do it without investing a whole lot more in more consumables, basically, that I can do those. And then when I run my bluing tanks, and I could be black oxiding, but I prefer to blue. I think it gives a nicer finish on these. I'm set up to where I can tumble these small parts in short runs and things like that, so I can produce them, and it's reasonable for me to do with not a whole lot of outlay. I've got enough equipment now to do that. Um, so there again, if I have cut off the supplies or the sources to these resellers on my new parts, why they're not going to, if they're going to restock them, they're not going to, for the most part, be able to restock them less expensively. It's going to cost them more to do that. So the prices are either going to be farther out of sight, or else it's not going to be worth their time to do it. They're not going to be able to sell them. So that's my goal, is to cut down on these high priced things that the guys are turning out, and give you a product that's reasonable to do. Now, I said before, on these Atlas machines, they're out there and they're available if you're patient. My neighbor across my back fence here 2 weeks ago, I was cleaning out my garden, which faces back there, and happened to look over and got to talking to him. I was making noise, and he yelled at me when I quit making noise, and so we chatted for a bit. And as I'm looking over the fence, I'm looking in the back of his pickup, and there's a lathe that's loaded in the back. It's on a wood stand, so the stand's laying down, but I can see a lathe there, and looked kind of familiar to me. And I said, "Well, what do you got there?" Well, he'd gotten this lathe through his father, through somebody else that was a retired machinist. Everybody's a retired machinist. Um, got this lathe, and I said, that looks kind of like an Atlas machine to me. And I ended up and hopped the fence and went back, and what he had was a 6-inch Atlas. It was badged Craftsman, but it was a 6-inch Atlas. Um, been used, but it's actually, and he didn't have all the tooling there with it. Supposedly there was more tooling that was coming for it and everything, and he'd given next to nothing or nothing from it for it. You know, it was an older gentleman, I guess, that his father knew that was cleaning out his shop, and they'd gotten 2 lathes from him, and one guy'd taken a bigger lathe, and he'd taken this one and knew nothing about it. It's one of the cleanest 6-inch lathes that I have ever seen. Now it's been used and it had some wear in it, but it was one of the cleanest and nicest 6-inch lathes that I'd seen. And like I say, he gave either next to nothing or nothing for it. I don't know what the deal was. It had been well taken care of. Been in somebody's garage. It was a little dirty, but not bad. And so there's those smoking deals out there if you're willing to wait for them. So anyway, that's all I got for you today. You know, I appreciate you guys supporting me. I appreciate the purchases that come off the website. I appreciate the comments in the comment section, and you know, I've gotten a little more callous, and here now that I've started weeding through these guys that are, I consider, taking advantage of the hobby. Um, I'm a little testy about it. So I'm just cutting it out, and that's going to cost me money, you know, because the one order that I sent out, this guy has periodically sent me orders, you know, over the last couple of years actually, and I didn't see a real big correlation between until I just got looking, and I think he's gotten a little more brazen, or they've gotten a little more brazen, because I had an order that was just about 3 weeks, a month ago, something like that, from the same gentleman. And then I got this order right after I'd restocked my steel vice jaws for the 10-inch, and that's when I got to investigating a little bit closer, and I've managed to correlate that seller at least, and I've got a couple others that are doing it to me too. So now I'm spending a little more time. I'm going through orders, which they all pop up right on through my website page when I get an order, so I can go back through and I can compare them fairly easily. But I'm going to have to take the time to be putting these orders together, finding out who's doing what. And I think a lot of times people think that I'm not watching, but anyway, I am. So anyway, I'll quit my rant there. Hopefully you find this a little bit useful. Comment, suggestions, leave in the comment section for me below, guys. And as always, thanks for taking the time to watch.